Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Words of Life with Sean A. Mitchell. We have now come to part 4 on a predestined life. And today we're going to look in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verses 28 through 30. And it reads as following. It says this, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. For whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn of many brethren." Verse 30 says, "Moreover, whom he predestined, these he also called. Whom he called, these he also justified. And whom he justified, these he also glorified." There's a lot just packed into these particular verses 28 through 30 in Romans chapter 8. So let's just jump right into this and just begin to kind of elaborate to give you some words of life today in this part 4 of a predestined life. Here it says this. It says that, and we know all things work together for the good. That is assurance in and of itself. That is good news. I like how Andrew Womack says it. Andrew Womack said, "Too good to be true news." So it doesn't matter what the situation is, all things work together for the good. Now, this is the part right here that most people miss. All things work together for good to those who love God. So if you love God, then it doesn't matter what's going on. All things are going to work together for your good. All right. And then it says this, to those who are called according to his purpose. So you have to be operating inside of the predestined, that predetermined life in order for all things to work together for the good. So two things that qualify all things working together for the good. One, to love God. Second, making sure you're called according to his purpose, and walking in that purpose will cause things to work together for your good. Verse 29 goes on to says, "For whom he foreknew." Now, we've been talking about that all week long, that he foreknew you. So we don't even have to continue to go there. It says, "So whom he foreknew, he also predestined." Now, we remember predestined in advance, or he determined, he predetermined. So his mind is fixed on this determination. So he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his son. Well, what does this word conform literally actually mean? Well, it means to be similar, to be fashioned like unto, to be united with, or to be together, to resemble, to be in association with, or companionship, to be complete. And then there's this other word that is there when you look this up in the Greek. It's this word instrumentally. And so when I was looking at that, I heard the Spirit speak to me, and he spoke to me more like an instrument, instrumentally, how two instruments come together in synchronization and harmony and release such a great sound. And that's what it means to be conformed to the image of his son. You know, something that's really good, if you look in the book of Hebrews chapter 1, somewhere within verse 1 and 3, it talks about the son. And it says that he is the exact representation of the Father. This is what God wanted in the beginning when he created man. He wanted man to be in what? His image and his likeness. And so that is the conforming, that resemblance that we're literally talking about right here in verse 29. And then it goes on to say, let's just jump down to verse 30. It says, "Moreover, whom he predestined, these he also called." So what does it mean to be called? It means literally to have an invitation to accept the benefit package of salvation. Now, there's a lot that comes with salvation. There's the word centurion in the Greek and the word sozo. But basically what it means is to be delivered and to bring into a place of wholeness of deliverance in many different categories, or let's just say all categories of life. And so God called you for that. So it says that whom he predestined, he called. So he gave there's an invitation for you. All right. So you're never left out of the pack. You're never ostracized. You're never to the point where you are rejected. So he predestined you. Therefore, he called you. You are invited to the benefits of salvation. And then he goes on to say, and whom he called, he justified. That word justify is where, hear people say, we want justice, or it means to show innocence. And so those he called, he justified them. He made them innocent. All right. And we've talked about that already throughout this series on a predestined life in regards to Jesus being that sacrifice for you and that value that, God used to bid upon you. So these he also justified. And then it goes on to say this, these he also glorified. The word glorified here means to esteem and to honor and to magnify. You think about this. A father, he loves to esteem his children, every accomplishment in life, everything that they have done, even, just the simple fact that, they don't have to be in athletics or whatsoever else. But sometimes just when a kid is a kid that is just obedient, you know what? That deserves right there to be glorified. And this is what God wants to do for you and for your life. You were predestined to be glorified. Now you think about that. Many people in the church, they honor God. They glorify God. They magnify God. But God wants to magnify you. And that's something that is really, 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 it takes a lot to really just to take that in and to receive that God wants to elevate you. He wants to esteem you. He wants to say, this is my child in whom I'm well pleased. So I want you to meditate on these things, share this with someone, give them this encouraging word. These are the words of life. And I want you to bask in these words and meditate on them today and allow God to minister and change your mind so that you can experience life more abundantly. Blessings from Shawnee Mitchell Ministries.